Welcome everybody to this game review of Has Been Heroes here on Additional Pylons Games. Let's go ahead and get into it. Before we do though, thanks to Game Trust Games for the key. Appreciate it, and I'm glad that I had the chance to review this game. So let's go ahead and get started on the review.
Additional Pylons Game Review.
Has Been Heroes is a happy-toned, story-driven game about lane-based combat. So you might be familiar with lane-based combat from games like Plants vs. Zombies, where basically you have to defend certain lanes and fight in those lanes throughout the game. So you play as a team of old adventurers trying to complete their final quest, this one last quest that they have. And you come together as an old team with a couple new guys as well. And you have to deliver 2 princesses to school. But there's more to that. It seems too lighthearted. It seems too trivial. But it gets more complicated from there. But that's one thing that I really enjoyed about Has Been Heroes. It's got this great story. It's very happy. It's very upbeat. It's got this little bit of humor to it, which is difficult to do in games. So basically, you use combos and you use spells to weaken enemies, to kill them, and to protect the 2 princesses that you are escorting. You defend against waves of enemies, stringing combos together to knock back and kill the opponent. So basically, you have to use the correct character in order to knock down an opponent's stamina. Once they're out of stamina, they get stunned, and then you bring in a finisher. You bring somebody in to do a lot of combo damage on them. The challenges of the game, basically, this is kind of like it's almost a math game. Honestly, it's this math/switching puzzle game where you have to try and figure out, okay, how many stamina bars do they have? What's the best combination that I can use to get rid of those? And then how do I bring in my finisher to kill them, basically, to knock them back? And doing this on 3 different lanes, in multiple different lanes. And so that's kind of the real basic challenge of it, is just trying to figure out what's the correct way to switch everybody through. So you want to hit them the right number of times to not let them block. And then once they're unable to block, they're stunned, and then you can bring in another character to pull off a stun combo and do a lot of damage to them. Switching incorrectly is what causes a lot of issues in the challenges of the game. Again, it's very Plants vs. Zombie-esque with lanes that you switch the heroes between. Characters have hit points, which can be worn down throughout the level, throughout the waves. And if any of your characters, if a single character reaches 0 hit points, then your run is over. It's done. So it's very it's got a little bit of roguelite feel to it, but it's very punishing, basically, for making mistakes, which is something to keep in mind. It seems like a fun, lighthearted game, and the story is, but the gameplay is it's pretty punishing, actually. So the main gameplay actually is a little bit more slow and strategic. It's not quite as fast paced as you would think. A lot of the time that you spend in combat is actually pausing to plan out your moves, plan out the spells that you're going to use, plan out your abilities, that sort of thing. You kind of navigate on the bottom right hand corner like you would in games like Darkest Dungeon. Some areas, so basically once you're done with an area, you click to the next place that you want to go. Some of the areas that you go, they don't have anything there. Other areas have treasures or shops or something like that, events, and others are battles, basically these lane-based battles. Again, you basically switch lanes to pull off combos using your heroes to try and whittle down and kill opponents. You can also use spells to give buffs or to damage opponents, give them, use abilities, that sort of thing. But again, I want to stress, if you do buy this game, it's not actually like super fast paced. You're going to be spending a lot of time. You're going to be spending a lot of time pausing in the combat to think over moves and not actually fighting. It's actually a lot more strategic. So it's not this super fast-paced kind of game. A lot of it is very slow, methodical, and very much strategic oriented, right? So that's just something to keep in mind. So the official review of it, you've been watching the gameplay there in the background. But basically, let's talk a little bit about my review system. So basically, I like to treat my review system as though I was talking to a friend and saying, here's my thoughts on the game, and if that friend came to me and asked me what I would think of this game, if I should buy it, right? So a game that gets a rating of 1, so it's 1 through 5. A game that gets a rating of 1, never buy it. Don't ever touch this game. It's buggy, it's broken, it's terrible, that sort of thing. A game that gets a rating of 2, serious caution on buying this game. Only buy it if you're a fan of the genre, if you're a fan of the series, if you're a fan of the books or the anime or the TV shows or whatever it is. A game that is rated a 3 is a solid, fun game. It's worth your money. You're going to have a fun time playing it. It's good. right? Maybe prioritize getting it on sale if you can hold off on it, but otherwise it's a fun. 4, a game that's a 4. This is a recommended purchase. I would endorse this game. If you like this genre, you should probably go buy the game because it's fun. It's a good game. You're going to have a lot of fun playing it. And it's well worth your money, right? And then 5, a game that gets a 5. This is basically cut off a limb and go buy it, preferably like a leg, so you have both hands to play. Anyways, this is just like a game that gets a 5 is a classic in the making. This is something it defines a genre, it defines the year, right? It might be a game of the year kind of game. So that's what a 5 is. So Has Been Heroes, what's my rating? My rating is a solid 2.25, actually. If I had to sum it up in a statement, it's not fun, it's frustrating. And it's frustrating on a number of different levels. So just right off from the start, the tutorial is incomplete and does not explain all the concepts in the game. There are concepts in the game that I still don't get. There's heroes that you can collect. There's all sorts of spells and stuff. There's a lot of stuff that was not explained. It's really sad because the voice acting was really good for the storytelling, all this sort of stuff. Why not pay a few more hours for this voice actor to give you just a few lines of good dialogue for a tutorial, right? It's just not there. So I'm really sad about that. Combos really are not explained very well, nor are some of the interface items. Tooltips aren't super descriptive. It's just not the tutorial, the description of it. They just don't give you the information you need to succeed, right? The difficulty curve is way too steep. So the tutorial, they have you kill a few stationary creatures at the start, and then they just throw you in the deep end, and it turns out that real combat is much more difficult. The difficulty curve is just way too steep. Frankly, it's just poor game design. I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people played this game for a few minutes and then just quit because the game just ramps up so hard. And my other thoughts on this is that it seems like this is just a way of artificially extending the game length of the game is just by making it super difficult, and making it to the point of frustration so that people feel like they can play this for 40 hours when really there's only like 5 hours of content. I don't know. I think I'm a little salty about this, but you can tell that I did not have fun playing this game. It was really just frustrating. And I feel like the reason why this is such an issue is not because the gameplay is inherently bad. Like, I enjoyed it. I tried to enjoy the gameplay as much as possible, but I just feel like I didn't have the tools, I didn't have the knowledge that was needed to succeed. I'm not asking for cheat codes, I'm not asking for easy mode. I just tell me what this button does. Tell me what this spell does. Tell me, give me there's a basic tutorial, but give me an advanced tutorial, just something. Just give me a little bit more knowledge so that I can actually play the game competently, because that's what I feel like this game has done, is basically dropped you off on the deep end and has given you absolutely no primer on what to do beyond click here to move on. So the other thing is that the gameplay is slow and strategic, not fast-paced like it would appear. And so this really isn't negative. It's just that the lighthearted story kind of lends itself to a more fast, flowy, fun action rather than a very slow strategic game. It's just kind of this cognitive dissonance really between the two. So in summary, I saw this game, it looked like a lot of fun. I really wanted to like this game. Like, I really wanted to, and it's just plain frustrating. There's unexplained tactics, hidden concepts, steep difficulty curve, poor tutorial, all that sort of stuff. I really wanted to like this game, and I have to give it a 2.25 because I just can't. It's $20 on Steam, American US dollars. It seems like a decent value if you don't mind slamming your head against levels over and over and over again. Like, just slamming your head against the wall. If you feel like that's fun, then that's kind of what this game is really geared towards. But it doesn't appear that way on the outside, right? It appears to be geared towards like the Plants vs. Zombie crowd, almost like halfway towards a mobile game. But in reality, this is like the people that would enjoy this game are like highly strategic people that don't mind getting killed over and over and over again. The kind of people that would play like Dark Souls and stuff. So I wouldn't bother with this game unless you really like a challenge. And even then, that challenge is due to the sheer lack of information and just the sheer number of enemies that they throw at you, not at the actual like difficulty of the gameplay, that sort of thing. They just don't give you the tools you need to succeed, which is really sad. Again, I really wanted to like this game, but it was just frustrating more than anything. So sorry to be a downer about that, but that's just the way it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. If a game doesn't deserve a 3, if it doesn't deserve a 4, I'm not going to give it a 3 or 4. I'm not going to inflate numbers like that. So I guess that kind of gets into like my rating system, where it's just like I see other like websites that rate something and it's like, this got a 6.5. Well, a 6.5 basically means that it's junk. A 7.5 means it's junk. Unless a game gets an 8 or a 9 or a 10, then it's not a good game. And I'm just not going to do that with my rating system. This game has potential to be fun, but it's just, until there's a proper tutorial, until there's advanced tutorials, until the difficulty curve is somewhat semblant of like feasible, it just I wouldn't bother with it. So anyway, that's my thoughts on it, and this has been another game review here on Additional Pylons Games. Be sure to hit like and subscribe. Check out some of the other game reviews that I've got up. Check out some of the Let's Plays that I've got going, and leave a comment below if you have any questions, any tips, anything like that. So thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time here on Additional Pylons Games. Thanks for watching Additional Pylons Games. Click one of the boxes to watch another video, and click the circle to subscribe and join the APG Zealots. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and share it with your friends. Comment below, and I'll see you next time here
on Additional Pylons Games.